Good afternoon and welcome to the Tradie Hour. We are so excited about what we have ahead of us. You know, the diversification and the pivoting that has occurred for every trade and construction-based business across Australia, New Zealand, actually the whole world over the last 2 years has been significantly shifting. Whether we liked it or not, the world has shifted. And as we, embrace what is this new economy, the economy of the inflationary environment that has resources, logistics, materials. I can't find good people, Stefan. Even when I find them, I don't even know that they're there because they're staring at me. And let me tell you about finding good people. That's been a problem for almost 500 years, in my opinion. And for many of us in business all across Australia and New Zealand and this part of the world, typically our small businesses only need probably one or two or three at the most new great A-graders joining us, and most of us are sitting and living in situations where we have 5 million, 10 million, and 1 million people right under our nose, and you only need one person. Let me tell you, it's always been difficult finding great people, even when there's thousands of them applying for jobs. So we're going to speak about that because this is the changing face of our businesses as we see them. Many of us are embracing the new phase. And without a further ado, I want to introduce our panelists that are joining me this afternoon. An amazing set of experience in both these individuals' space and place of brilliance. Firstly, Angelo Alateris from Pragma. Good afternoon and welcome. Good to have you here, mate.
Good to be here, Stefan. Thanks for inviting me.
And just out of curiosity, Pragma, what is Pragma? What do you guys do there? I mean, it's a phenomenal business, but let the world know, what do you actually do?
Well, Pragma, we're manufacturing designers. So we come from an industrial design discipline, and we design, supply, and produce products mainly in the space of corporate signage, wayfinding and directories. And we've got a few niche strands, which are ATM branding. We've got a very good reputation in that space. So we like to be in the whole process from the design idea through to maintenance. So in a nutshell, that's what we do.
And just out of interest, because I mean, many sign-based businesses that we definitely meet and certainly entertain as a conversation as to where are you, where are you going, and point A to point B's, and personal goals, wealth goals, business challenges. Many of the sign-based businesses, the signies as we like to call them, that we meet and have a conversation with very often in our journey in doing what we do here at Business Benchmark Group. Typically, they're businesses that have 3, 4, 5 people on the team. The owner is knee deep in the on the tools and what have you. But help me understand the shape of Pragma and your setup in your business. What give me a shape. What does Pragma have as a number of people on the team, and then your extensive network, I believe, across the region? What does that look like?
So if we look at numbers, we've got approximately 20 in-house staff, but our network's far-reaching. So we don't profess to have everything in one roof. That's not our model. We've got a national network of manufacturers as well as installers, and we've got international relationships for manufacturing and raw material supply. So that allows us to sort of be nimble and change our tact as we need to. We also don't really come from a discipline of, we come from a design discipline foremost. So the fact that we're doing signage and branding, we don't come from a sign right legacy. It's more of an industrial design, working from a computer first rather than from on the floor first approach, which once again allows us to look at things a bit differently from the way things may have been done traditionally in the past.
I love that. And that's such it's befitting our conversation this afternoon, which I'm really eager to introduce our next panelist. But it's befitting our conversation about, diversification, same product, new market. New products, same market. And that's the extent of diversification in small business. Anywhere in the world, I've got the same product, but I have an opportunity to look at my business no longer at a territorial level, but I can look at it at a time zone level. Same product, new market. Or I can look at it, Angelo, from I have an opportunity to innovate. I love that computer first, that consultative element to computer first, then we'll put it together and we'll deliver it at a most efficient end-to-end level, which is a phenomenal business model, by the way. But that lends itself to, hang on, new product, same market, diversification. And yet many of us get very concerned about, oh my God, the world is changing and I think I'm going to be left behind. Well, no one gets left behind. Only those that choose to continue to play the game of business as if it was pin the tail on the donkey get left behind, particularly through changing markets. And I'm really keen to introduce our third panelist here this afternoon at the episode of the Tradie Hour, brought to you by Business Benchmark Group. I want to introduce a almost a regular, I'm going to call it. Over the 3 seasons, he's been involved in every season, and we're really pleased to have him come back. James Denton, the General Manager of Carpentry Australia, an association that truly is a remarkable reference point for over 30,000 carpenters in Australia in one way or another, members or not. They are open and continuing to be open to be supporting and being a place of, a place of reason as it relates to the carpentry industry in Australia. And welcome, James. Good to have you here, mate.
Hey, Stefan. Thanks for having me back. I must be doing something right. I keep getting the invite, so I'll try to keep it on track.
Mate, I remember season 1, and you were on season 1 with our phenomenal client, Matt Adams from the Tradie Wraps, and he sort of made a comment on your haircut, and that sort of, to be honest with you, mate, that got so much feedback as to how he complimented your wife's haircut. And I know it was lockdown back then, and she did her best. But, mate, anyone that turns up to being a panelist at the Tradie Hour with a phenomenal haircut like that always gets an invitation back, mate. But I love what you do and what you represent. More importantly, James, how are you, again, in a changing economy? Like, we would have spoken about the economy and I guess construction and carpenters almost about 4 months ago now. And what are you seeing as a change as we're getting into the deep levels of winter now in this part of the world? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you noticing as the change going on in the industry for you and your members?
Yeah, so for people that don't know, Carpentry Australia, we're a trade support organisation. So people sign up to us and we become the voice of carpentry. So we're with government working on licensing and those sort of things. But for the day-to-day, we're there to help apprentices and qualified carpenters to succeed in their career, so they can contact us for business support, job leads, trades advice. We can help them network with our apprentices, find new stuff. And that's probably one of the biggest changes we've seen. I think 12 to 24 months ago, people were contacting us wanting more work and wanting job leads, whereas now people are contacting us for more staff because they're so busy and they're trying to keep up. So Carpentry Australia, we've got to be on top of and on the pulse of what's happening in the industry, and we have to be, ready to change quickly. So during lockdowns, our training, where we train people to become builders, and our online training that was face-to-face quickly went to online. So we just need to be quick and ready to adapt to change and make those changes so that we can keep servicing our members. And we also found that during a time like a pandemic, where people were a bit uncertain and worried and needed support, was when we saw a big spike in membership, because people don't always, join up to their network for support when things are going well. But as soon as things are uncertain, they need that support. So we've really enjoyed being there to help those people get through them times. And with the road ahead, I think tough times are still ahead, definitely in the industry with materials and people's shortages. So we're just going to be there to make sure we're keeping guys updated and ready to succeed in the business, whichever way it is they need our support.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And it is truly impressive. Like at Business Benchmark Group, we have relationships with many associations in the region, and we're stretching as far as the US and the UK now as it relates to those relationships. And you can definitely see the more, I guess, I'm going to call it customer-centric versions of associations. You can definitely feel the DNA of an association and their closeness, the relational approach as it relates to their members and being relevant, keeping your finger on the pulse, as you called it. And I just think it's remarkable what you guys are doing, and specifically because many carpenters are younger typically when they start their business. They're different to the electricians and the plumbers. And needless to say, many of them don't truly grow out of just having a job. Like, okay, they're on their own and they sort of might get one or two guys or girls on the team, but they're always an underpaid, overworked job owner versus business owner. And what we see, and we have plenty of our clients in the carpentry space that are definitely members of Carpentry Australia, and we just see a significant pivot, let's call it, a diversification from being on the tools to being off, to being on the tools to off the tools, and being better business owners, making better decisions, growing more people, giving them more opportunities to keep on growing. So from I guess a construction point of view, and where chippies in your case are definitely aligned to, whether they're building pergolas in someone's backyard or they're truly building townhouses or being involved in multi-story developments. What are you getting as a sense, a flavour of the busyness out there? Do you feel the opportunity for work is still out there, and enough of it for competent carpentry businesses to be truly getting richer every other year?
Yeah, I think it's a good market to be in as carpenters. I think everyone we're sort of talking to, and the members, so the people that are investing in the right things and using our support, they're contacting us, and often they've only got a couple of seconds on the phone because they're just flat out. They've got teams, 3 or 4 sites running, and that's a good time. When we see big teams with everyone on the one site, we see the alarm bells that, hang on, why have you got 8 people on one site? Why aren't you spread? It means you haven't got enough jobs. But we've seen guys spreading, and we've seen a lot of people come to us wanting to expand their team, which is always a sign that there's a lot of work out there. So they're looking to put on an extra supervisor or a couple extra qualified, multiple apprentices. So we work to help our members get that. So we were out at a trade school on Tuesday, and we got 100 apprentices we got to present to and talk to. In that room, there's probably 10 of them looking for the next employer. So then we quickly can network and get them to our carpenters. So we know people need apprentices and need staff. So that's something that we put time into helping. So not just going out and helping those apprentices when how to make the next step, but it's also about networking them with our current members to make sure people can fill those staff voids, so they can continue to grow, because a growing business is a good business.
No doubt. And Angelo, from your perspective, in certain circles in the industry, you're known as the business is known as this is where you go to get X. This is where you go. Like, you go to Pragma. If you're looking for this, you go to Pragma, and Angelo and the team there, and it's an amazing team there at Pragma, will help you with absolutely doing this. And we're talking about tier 1 customers and tier 1 as it relates to the work you deliver. So if I was to fill the blank off, you go here to get that, and that is a blank, what do you truly feel Pragma is known for in the market? What are you truly known for? I know you do wayfinding. I know you do the big pieces with big stuff in shopping centres and blah blah blah. But when it's all done and dusted, and this is what I truly, this is why I love having you here this afternoon and sharing. If you can just think outside the square and make it happen, what is Pragma truly known for and owns the space for being the number one in this part of the world?
If we're talking about things, it's got to be ATM branding, which ironically has been a declining industry set of tails for the last 15 years, but it's been the backbone of our business. So anything related to the ATM space and how it's branded and portrayed, that's our piece. And we have got the track record of delivering, designing and doing that over the last 13 years.
Which is phenomenal, and it's really it just supports the point as it relates to narrow your focus. Who is your ideal customer, the ideal job, at the ideal margin? If you get one right, then you can build the second one and the third one and the fourth one, and they're all complementing each other. But you get known in a very competitive, I guess, environment such as the one we're experiencing now, to be a true destination for excellence, quality, reliability, and A graders line up, and they're prepared to wait for you to deliver when you're ready. And there's a lot of power in that as it relates to diversification and pivoting. And no different to what we're seeing in the market right now. You know, apartment building and or development has sort of in the last 3 to 4 years moved towards more developers are doing townhouses again. You know, where we're going back to a little bit of, you know, it's ratioed back that way. And therefore, the construction crews, I was talking with a very good friend of mine last night, 3 contracts he gave out. He's a massive developer, and he gave out 3 contracts last night to 2 builders to the value of $120 million. And in saying that, we were having a chat about, okay, why is it that you chose those builders? I mean, did you go to tender? He goes, no, mate. He goes, we have not done tender for at least 6 years in our consortium. We don't do tender. What we do is we pay the right price, and what he means by that is we want the builder and the construction crews to make money, because we're going to need them in 10 years for the projects we're designing right now, right? And we're going through planning permits and what have you. And you think about that, and you think about what you just shared. You know, in Australia, you are known for being the number one business benchmark group in Australia. We're not the only business coaching business working with trades and construction. We are known for absolutely getting non-negotiable results. So we have a waiting list of clients and partners, and ultimately a really good fit that occurs there because we are clear about the outcomes, the standards. So back to you, Angelo, when you think about the last 2 years and possibly the next 2 years, what do you see? Like, freedom of movement for the last 2 years, particularly as a Victorian-based business, was challenging. The next 2 years, as it relates to the immobility of material and or the logistics of finding and exceeding excellent network in your supply chain, what do you see as the biggest challenge that needs to be conquered for a business like yours? It's not just under one roof. You are all over Australia doing what you do.
I think there's a bit of an acceptance that is the challenge, and that acceptance has to be on client side. So we'll be thrown every challenge under the sun, where it's what you mentioned, freight, materials, labor. But if the client is not willing to also understand that challenge, we can provide alternatives and look at a different way of doing something, but you need the client to be on board with that same challenge. So if we've got the client on the same page, then we don't see those challenges as an issue at all. It's just another way of how you deliver a project. So if we've got open-mindedness with our end users, we'll be fine. We just have to change the way we do things. If people stay stuck in the way we did things, say, 4 years ago, where freight was great, labor was abundant, material prices were pretty much consistent, then that's where the problems will start. So we've all got to evolve a little bit to a space where to realize, okay, we want to deliver X, but the way we did in the past might not be the same way in the next 2 years. And that way we can keep things going and the economy moving and work's going on, rather than saying, oh, it's too hard, we'll just stop and wait. So I really believe it's the partnership with client side which will help us navigate the challenges we've got to date. And if we're open about it as manufacturers and say, hey, look, traditionally we would do it this way, we would freight your products this way. However, there's an upside here. Would you be open to doing it another way? I think that's how success will come.
And I love that. And, you know, always remaining at the forefront of being customer-centric. I mean, my view of the world is if I had $10 in my pocket, I would always invest $9 in delivering a promise versus let me go and get 10 more clients, right? Which is the marketing piece. So if you just keep on championing a customer-centric, a people-centric approach, even in your own business, Angelo, where you're up to, you know, 20 people on the full-time schedule there. If you think about that, that's almost, well, it is. It's 1,200 hours a week of resourcing at your disposal, and you're the leader of that, who every other day is making decisions around where or what are we pivoting towards or choosing to say yes to, and possibly and most likely no to. And in those activities that you say yes or no to, you have 1,000+ hours each week that ultimately go and execute, and ultimately you're looking for results, and hopefully they're more positive results than not so positive. So in this world of, you know, we're in this together, in this changing world where we need to meet and exceed the customers' needs who are a little more, let's say, post-COVID. I'm sensing, and what I'm seeing in the market is a shift towards, no, it's my way. No, I expect, no, this is the way it's got to be. And therefore, to be in a position where, okay, that's okay. However, there is also this way is such a powerful DNA component of businesses that are truly going to be here in 100 years' time. And if I'm to say this, I don't want you to get scared or leave the screen, right? Angelo, if I'm sharing with you that you are currently building a business that you're going to run forever, however, you're getting it ready every other day to attract the highest level, the benchmark level investors, what do you say to that as it relates to 2022 and what's ahead of you?
I'd say thank you for the compliment, and that's where we're heading for. Yeah, I think you're right. It's not about me, it's about the business, and that will surpass what I do right now. So, we have been striving to get to that point, and it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but that's business, right? It's never a smooth road.
No, and I'm just curious to get a sense of, get a flavour off from James. You know, when the phone calls come in, and there's probably a mixed bag of the phone calls as to good, bad, and ugly, and people truly in a place or a crossroad of drama, as I'm sure they're ringing you to say thank you, and you're probably getting a lot of thank you calls, no doubt. I mean, I get thank you calls. Like I've just had 6 thank you calls just then in the last 5 minutes versus Stefan, where is my report? Right. But I'm just curious to hear as it relates to your community there, James, and from the top down, from Carpentry Australia, from yourself and Jake, who are doing an extraordinary job in truly providing support to an industry. How many of your carpentry let's go this way. How many of your owners of carpentry contracting businesses, owners, not carpenters, how many owners of your carpentry contracting businesses are building 100-year plus companies?
Probably not as many as we would hope to be doing. And that's where we team up with people like yourself and try and get those businesses that, are starting to expand and getting teams of 5 to 10. And it's taking that next step and building a true business that can be sustainable beyond the years of themselves. I think a lot of carpenters, as you said, they work themselves. They got their wife doing the books, and they're doing, the paperwork when they get home, and they're probably working 3 jobs in one to get by. So it's about working smarter, not harder, and more hours, and trying to help them make that. And so when you're talking about your diversification, it's about changing your business. And when materials go up 10, 20%, it's not about always wearing that cost and working an extra hour every day to make it up. Speak to your customers and explain the costs, and make sure you're quoting and charging rates that makes a sustainable business. Some people get caught in, I might not get the job, so I'll undercut myself. But there's no point winning a job if you're going to be doing it for no money at the end. And some people are working in that way, and that's where we come in and try and help carpenters to understand that. All our members have access to a rates calculator, and we want to make sure that people are charging a rate that they can, feed their family and achieve the goals they hope to, rather than working, 60, 70-hour weeks, and at the end of the year, not making anywhere near what they hope to. They're not going to stay in the industry. So a big part of what we do is, in the changing markets, helping people understand that and stay in the industry.
I love that, and a great response there, mate, because I know it's just one of those questions, isn't it? I mean, I rarely meet people that turn up in small business, that is, it says, Stefan, I'm really excited about it. I'm going to build a 100-year company. I don't, that's not the typical conversation. The typical conversation is, mate, I'm at a crossroad. I'm not broken. Help me get through in terms of, make a better version of my business the next 1-2 years. And that's as far as we're trained in small business. I'm not talking about mid or large, but in small business, the owner's still centered everything. And Angelo, you can relate to this. You're centered to everything, and there comes a point where you truly feel pillar to post. But it's through the decision around, okay, I'm gonna have to lead something that's starting to look a little different, feel a little different. I'm gonna have to get out of my comfort zone and become a leader of the unknown. In other words, how do I, if I was to, what would, that's leader of the unknown sort of type of questioning and it's critical thinking. But I guess I'll come back to you, Angelo. You know, when you think about the changing face of your business over 10 plus years or so, and where you are and what you're designing as a game that you can win in the next little while, the diversification of your own business as it relates to the internal structure, as it relates to being attractive to attract. So you can't attract unless you're attractive. There's no other way. And you can't be successful until you know at a consistent level what success actually means. You just can't. It's not an event. It's a bloody journey, right? So when you think about Pragma and what you're attracting right now or creating to attract in terms of talent, employee talent acquisition, employee value proposition, when you think about that very important piece in building something that can outperform and outlast you, what can you share as it relates to your most recent and the next 1 or 2 years as to what you see as your change as it relates to the face of your business? And you're only a small business. You have 20 people on the team. Very small, very intimate, very people-centric. What are you doing as an owner and a leader of a successful business that, I can't be here forever? What are you doing about that to create space and capacity?
I think it's being clear about, there's many factors in what you're asking, Stefan, but it's about being clear to team members about what the opportunities they have within the business. And once that comes through by word of mouth in terms of genuine voice at the table, no matter what level, we become attractive. And we become attractive to the right people that do want to make a difference or want to make an impact. So you're right. Well, once you achieve some success and you know what you stand for, this business isn't about one guy in the corner calling the shots. It's about everyone being given the permission to call the shots in a safe environment, and we're all in it together. Now, people sign up for that or they don't. There's sort of DNA requirements that you need to work at Pragma, and you soon find out, and people find out. They come to us in terms of, this place would suit my style. So it takes a while to work it out and craft it, but once you know, and even during interview process, we're pretty open about, well, if you're going to work here, you're going to have these and these traits. If you purport to have them and you don't, it's only you'll just fail yourself. So you might as well not come on board. So it's been quite defined about what we're looking for and being quite open that it doesn't fit everyone. So I think that's how that's how we have been able to scale the business, by getting the right people with the right sort of DNA, which people that want to stand up, people that want to take a risk, and people that want to achieve things are people that want to work in our organization. If you don't and want to be part of a cog, and then that's great as well, then maybe this business isn't right for you. So it's just being open and transparent about our journey and how the next role will fit the next part of the journey, and communicating that to the candidates that want to join our company.
And mate, excellent. So impressive to hear all that. And it's the way of the world. I mean, in my opinion, it's a very uncomplicated way to go about your business. The world is complicated enough. Let's just not add more complexity to the world we live in. This is how and what is expected here. Actually, the Navy SEALs have the US Navy SEALs have an amazing motto. We carry it with a badge of honor here at Business Benchmark Group. If you want the most, make it easy. But if you want the best, you got to make it hard. This is not for everyone, I also ask, Angelo, as you're aware, and James, you are starting to get aware. I walk into a room and I say, who wants to go to heaven as it relates to your business? Who wants to go to heaven? And all the hands go up. And literally 3 minutes later or 2 minutes later or half a minute later, I say, okay, excellent. Who's prepared to die? 60% of the hands go down. There's no other way to get to heaven or whatever your heaven is other than you're prepared to put in the work and understand the impact, the upside, the progression that you're creating as a part of your little piece in a bigger piece that you're engaged and or involved. It is truly remarkable. I love everything you just shared there, Angela. James, back to you for a moment. So, the changing needs and ultimately the need for businesses or in your case, your Carpentry Australia membership business or the carpenters that you truly, truly help every other day. How is it that you suggest or recommend that, the changing face of business, the needs of a customer are absolutely going higher? Clients right now, business clients right now, residential business to consumer clients right now, they are paying more for everything. And if you don't believe me, just go to your petrol bowser right now to understand what I'm talking about. Everyone's paying more, right? And therefore, is there this elevated level of expectation because everyone's paying more? And in your case, how are you guiding or assisting with the headspace, the mindset, in other words? And we just heard a little bit of Angelo's version of this. How are you assisting with the mindset around, yes, things are getting more expensive, but that doesn't mean you need to be cheap as it relates to your members of Carpentry Australia?
Yeah, I think, as I said earlier, it's about pricing yourself in the right market. You don't want to go in a price war and undercut each other if it means you're not going to be able to sustain your business. You want to be able to continue. And similar to your example last time, that the builders and the customers, I think, are willing to pay an amount because they want someone to be able to see the job from start to finish, not get halfway through, not make money, and not be able to continue. Some big builders have struggled financially, and the people that are working for them, it's about we've worked with some members that are working with bigger companies about invoicing and payment terms and getting money through, not waiting 90 days and finding out no money's coming. So there's a bit of education around your payment, your invoicing, but there's also about valuing your time and your work and your team and doing that. But I think as you said, the Bowser, I've got a big ute. I feel it every time you go to the pump. That price is going up, but it's not just fuel. There's timber materials. All materials seem to be going up. So you can't just have a set hourly rate that you continue to charge. Otherwise, you won't be able to be sustainable in business.
What is the price of a pot these days in a suburban pub, mate? What is it?
Oh, pot, I don't know. I've got 2 young kids, mate. The last time I've been able to go to a pub and have a cold pot has been too long. But yeah, no, I won't even answer that. I've got a 10-week-old and a 2-year-old, so I'm not going to the pub any more than I would like to.
Mate, you're drinking the Gronies home brew, mate. No problem.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mate, thanks to you, and awesome to hear. How is the little one going, mate?
Yeah, no, they're both going well. One turns 2 next week and the other one turns 3 months. So 21 months apart, 2 girls. I'm heavily outnumbered, but yeah, love them to death, and it's worth skipping the pub a few times to spend time with them.
And when it's all done and dusted, that is the most important piece in all our lives. And those that are there, we're privileged, and those that are going there, mate, look forward to that. Angelo, just as we come to some conclusion as it relates to today's episode of the Tradie Hour, thank you for being here. If there was one thing that if you were 12 months ahead of where we are today, let's just say this is August 2023, and we're looking backwards, what is it that you're going to see and or reflect on? The one thing that you, Angelo Alaterra, CEO and founder of Pragma, that when you look back in the next 52 weeks, you're going to say, that was good. That was good. We've moved the boat forward, right? What will that one thing be for you in this changing economy?
Well, I think it'd be that we got through it and we were successful. We've got a lot of projects to deliver. It's tough, and if I look back in a year's time, it'll be, well, we did it against all odds, and it's a different to 2 years ago. The challenges are significantly different this time around. So when we get through that, it'd be a bit of a celebration because it's a pretty tough space at the moment.
What is the most toughest thing about the space at the moment, mate, for you?
I think there's a bit of pick up what James said. Aside from inflationary pressures, there's health issues in terms of staff and illness and consistency, which is more than just staff. It's your contractors, and and your partners in delivery. So everyone's going through the same pain points of where you started with availability of staff, and that impacts continuity. You can't get continuity. You overlay that with projects that still need to be delivered, and you've just got to do it a different way than what you have before. So look at it differently. How are we going to deliver this project? So yeah, going forward 12 months, if we can navigate all these different issues which are happening simultaneously, we've done a really good job. So yeah, a lot going on.
Mate, mate, words of wisdom. I love it. Unbelievable sharing here. And James, as it relates to Carpentry Australia, August 2023, and we look backwards, what is it as it relates to being a significant influencer in that association for thousands of people across the nation? What will you see as your the number one thing in 12 months' time, looking backwards, that was a great decision? What is that for you, in your opinion?
I think in our business, it would be that we've just started July this year, rolling out our national builders training to all states. So we tested it in Victoria and had real great success helping our guys become registered builders in their domestic builders limited to carpentry or unlimited. And now we've expanded through extra trainers, and now we're doing it in all states of Australia. So that's a new thing that we've had a really good uptake this month. And I think in 12 months, when we see that we're servicing our carpenters becoming registered builders in all states of Australia, that'll be a big tick to the box. And that's what diversification is. You can't just do what works. You've got to expand what you're doing and offer more and more to your people. And as we expand what we offer, the more members we'll get in other states. So that's what we'll continue to do. And in 6 months' time, it might be that we have something completely different come up in Queensland or WA, and we just got to stay on top of that and get ready to roll things out.
Mate, I love it. And basically what you said is new product, same market. That's what you just mentioned, which is really interesting, because when we think about diversification, some of us just go into, oh my God, I've got to compete with Elon Musk to get to Mars first. And that's the last thing you want to be doing, right? You do not want to be competing with Elon Musk to go to the moon first, right? Because I think Jeffrey Bezos might beat him before any one of us do, right? So the point is, I've got a very loyal and sticky customer base. In other words, I'm doing the right thing. I'm going to continue doing the right thing, but I'm going to continue to innovate and share more value for them to consider taking. Master stroke. No money down that one. It is a master stroke, and it's built on the back of a strong, customer-centric, customer-focused DNA. And Carpentry Australia, power to you, James, and leading what you do. You and Jake are a phenomenal set of leaders doing what you do. Angelo, thank you for being here this afternoon and sharing some amazing, again, words of wisdom, but more importantly, Pragma and its ability as a small business with 1,000 hours or so available to it every week, truly making a difference and going pound to pound with some big gorillas out there that you compete with. And it's not about beating them. It's about staying true to yourself, which is way more important. Definitely. And many of us continue to look down at our toes at the expense of occasionally just lifting our eyes up and looking at 1, 2, 3 years into the horizon. What do we see and what is possible for us? I want to thank you both for your sharing here this afternoon. This is the Tradie Hour, a phenomenal sharing between James, Angelo, and thank you for being here. Everybody be safe. Keep your comments coming in. Ensure you're getting engaged at a higher level. And we look forward to the next season coming up very soon of the Tradie Hour. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening, and let's go make a great decision starting today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steph. Thank you.